Hosted by Hubert McIntosh, a CPA and member of SOFA, the Society for Financial Awareness, with the number one goal: assist individuals to take charge of their personal finances. Please join us every Sunday night at 9 p.m. on 1170 a.m. or via your smartphone app, Waves 1170, or on the internet at waves1170.com.
Good evening, good Sunday evening to you. Thank you for joining us. Well, it's a rainy Sunday evening this evening in South Florida, but I thank you for joining us. This is Hubert McIntosh, your CPA, a member of SOFA. SOFA, the Society for Financial Awareness, with the mission of helping to eradicate financial illiteracy in America, one community at a time. And I have joined SOFA, and I am coming to this community. So thank you for joining us. Last week, we continued the theme of talking about insurance benefits. So last week, we spoke about living benefits. And sometimes you talk about some things and then you get some experience that just validate what you're talking about. We have been getting feedback from you guys on the internet. We have the website created, financialliteracy.info. So we thank you for your feedback there. We have created a phone number also specifically for you, 754-366-7311, 754-366-7311. And the studio, we are in the studio Sunday night from 9 to 10. You can call us. The number is 954-792-1170. 954-792-1170. So we are here to assist you in any way we can as we bring financial literacy to you. So we thank you for the feedback that we have been getting. We have been getting feedback via text, we have been via phone and internet. So we thank you. Tonight we're gonna talk about Medicare. It's a topic we spoke about before, but we have been getting some requests that, if we could share some more insights regarding Medicare. So we find it necessary that we need to touch on it again, because there's still some confusion and people still wants to know a little more. And, Medicare has been in the news a lot, especially recently with the passing of the bill. The not passing of the bill, there was some confusion regarding Medicare and Medicaid, and we're going to clear up some of that this evening. But I want to share something with you guys. Last week we spoke about life insurance and living benefits. Remember, we are in the studio. The number is 954-792-1170. 954-792-1170. And we spoke about that last week. So this week I was in Atlanta airport. I was traveling from Tennessee back to Florida. I was in Nashville and with a stopover in Atlanta on Thursday. And I met a lady. I happened to be waiting, in the airport, waiting for my connecting flight to West Palm Beach. I met a lady at the airport where it seems like a chance meeting. I'm sitting there and there were a couple of chairs there, and she came and she asked, if the seats are taken. And I says, no, they're reserved just for you. And that lady sat down, and all she was doing, she was just sighing. So I heard the first sigh, and I'm like, wow, what's going on? She sighed a second time. And then I asked her, are you okay? And she sighed again. I'm like, wow, So I says, well, maybe I'm asking the wrong question by asking her what's going on. So where we were sitting, there was a flight before mine going to Birmingham, Alabama. So I asked her, are you going home or are you visiting? Which is it? She says she's going home from her chemo treatment. I'm like, wow, from your chemo treatment. So I said, you live in Birmingham, but you're in Atlanta for chemo treatment? She says, yes. She says, yes, So I said, what happened to the centers or the places in Birmingham, Alabama? Why weren't you doing it here? Why did you come to Atlanta to do your chemo? And she mentioned to me that she was getting service through the Cancer Center of America, and she says the service in Atlanta was better, because I don't know if the center there is bigger or whatever, but she flies from Birmingham, Alabama to Atlanta. And folks, so I went on and I asked her, so how many treatments do you have left? How many treatments? Because normally sometimes you'll hear someone will doing chemo and they may be doing 6, 8, 10 treatments. She said, for the rest of my life. I said, what do you mean the rest of your life? So she went on further to explain to me that she had a rare case of cancer. I forgot the terminology that she used, but it's a cancer where the only way for it to be maintained is for her to get chemo treatment every 2 weeks. So I asked her, and you came by yourself? She said, yes. She says, yes. She says she has 3 daughters, but they all have their own lives. And you could see a bit of sadness on her face. I didn't go into the details. I did not ask her the details because I sensed that she was hurting, because she said she has 3 daughters. She has 3 daughters, but they all have their own lives. I went on further to ask her, how long have you been getting this treatment? How long have you been? She's been getting that chemo treatment for 3 years. She's been traveling from Birmingham, Alabama to Atlanta every 2 weeks for 3 years, and she has to do this for the rest of her life. I'm like, so I says, it may be better if you just move to Atlanta, because how do you sustain it? Her response to me, sometimes she wonders each week, but she says it's by the grace of God, where some weeks she doesn't sure if she's going to be able to go because the finances were not there. So why am I sharing this story with you? I'm sharing this story with you because it's coincidental, if you want to call it. Last week, I was just talking to you about living benefits, where these things happen. These things happen, and sometimes you have to get these treatments. And if you don't have a caregiver, you're going this alone. So think about this lady. Think about this lady, and just try to picture it. Just try to picture it. Every 2 weeks, she's going to another city. She's flying to another city to get her chemo treatment. And she has to do this for the rest of her life. So when I talk about living benefits, I know sometimes we don't see ourselves in this situation where we can say, well, oh my gosh, that was just bad luck on her part. But if we stop and we make plans for ourselves, whether even for ourselves, but for our loved ones, and I'm telling you, there are products out there that can help this situation, whereas you can have insurance products where I tell you that life insurance is not just life insurance anymore. It's living benefits. And this is one of the things I was mentioning to you about living benefits. Here's this lady, her cancer is not terminal in the sense that the doctor is telling her that she's going to die in 6 months or 12 months or 24 months. Basically, they're telling her that if she maintains this chemo, she doesn't have a terminal part where she can say, well, this is going to last for 6 months or 12 months. So the part I'm emphasizing, do you see what is happening? This lady is traveling. She doesn't have a travel companion. She doesn't have a caregiver. She's doing it alone. And what happened? She gets some benefits. She gets some benefits from insurance. And she also gets some benefits from the Cancer Center of America. So I'm giving them a plug there. So because of her situation, she's getting some benefit because she had good insurance. But remember, the insurance only covers the health. That is the part I'm trying to emphasize to you. So you may have the insurance to cover the health, but think about the travel. Think about the travel where she's traveling from one city to another. And these are the things I mentioned to you with living benefits. Yeah. So I don't want to belabor it, but I just want to share that story with you. We're going to go into Medicare, but I want to point out that story to you. So the phone lines are open, 954-792-1170, 954-792-1170. So Medicare. There are some common questions about Medicare. There are some confusions, but there are also options, and those are some of the things we're going to talk to you about. So let's give you the background. What is Medicare made of? But before we go there, let's talk about the separation, because you guys hear a lot of that in the news, especially this week, as I mentioned, regarding Medicare and Medicaid. And so let's just clear that up, because sometimes they are confusing together, where people confuse Medicare for Medicaid and Medicaid for Medicare. But they are different, but because of some intertwining, sometimes it may seem like they are the same. But Medicare is basically health insurance. So if you put it under general topic, Medicare is health insurance for people over 65 or disabled. So think of that. It's people over 65 or disabled. So you can have a 45-year-old person. They're not 65, they're 45-year-old, and they can be on Medicare because they are disabled. So that's the two qualification to be on Medicare. 65 and older, or under 65 and disabled. So that's Medicare. So what's Medicaid? Medicaid now is almost similar to a welfare assistance. It's not similar. It's a welfare assistance, because Medicaid is for where basically if you're in the poverty level. Yeah. So a lot of times you hear someone on Medicaid, you can say, well, they're in the poverty level. And you're like, but Hubert, what are you talking about? Remember, the poverty level in the United States right now, it's $11,640. So if someone makes less than $11,640, there are a lot of instances where they can be eligible for Medicaid. So they will get assistance. In some case, it will be financial assistance. But the part where it's confusing with the Medicaid and Medicare, because the person who is on Medicaid, they get their medical insurance through Medicaid. You see what I'm saying? So I just want you guys to have that understanding there. Whereas Medicaid is basically for poor people, Medicare is for people over 65 or disabled. So I just want to point that part out to you guys so that you have that understanding. So back to Medicare. Medicare has four parts. Four parts. You have Medicare Part A, which is for hospital. Medicare Part B, it says medical, but so you may say, but Hubert, isn't hospital and medical the same? Yes, what the breakdown is, the Part B is for doctors and urgent care and other medical facilities. Part A is strictly for the hospital. All right. Here's another confusing part. So someone is in the hospital, right? And they have Medicare. So they're thinking because based on what I just said, well, they're in the hospital, they have Medicare, then the hospital coverage is going to cover everything. No. Remember, there is hospital coverage and there's doctor coverage. So you may have a doctor who works for the hospital, where that doctor is an employee of the hospital, where that would come under the hospital coverage. But you may have a doctor who's not an employee of the hospital. The doctor is an independent doctor, but he provides services in the hospital. So that doctor now that's providing services as an independent person, that doctor would fall under Medicare Part B. So this is confusing to a lot of seniors. Sometimes they go to the hospital and they get two separate bills. They get two separate bills because they're thinking, well, I was in the hospital, I should get a hospital bill. Yes, you get a bill. Sometimes you'll get two bills, but one bill is directly from the hospital and the other bill is also from the hospital on behalf of the doctor. So this is so for those of you, yes, you're not on Medicare yet or whatever, but we have an opportunity where we can help our seniors, because we have seniors in our lives who may not even understand this aspect of it. But if you understand it somewhat, or if you don't even understand it fully, you can guide the seniors to people who understand. And that's why we have come alongside you to help eradicate, eliminate, minimize financial illiteracy. So we come to you every Sunday night, 9 to 10, to provide some of this education. But because we are here Sunday nights, 9 to 10, it doesn't mean that's the only access you have to us. You can contact us. You have access to us 24/7. Yes, 24/7. Remember, we have the website, financialliteracy.info. Financialliteracy.info. That's a website. You can go on there. You can look under the services page. You will see us, about us, and it will give you some great information. In addition, I shared this with you before. All the shows that we have done since January 1st this year, this is our this is coming on to the end. Tomorrow is the end of the 7th month we are with you, and we just thank you. We thank you for listening. We thank you for the feedback you have provided. We thank you for the encouragement. We have people who have been listening to us since January, and those of you, you know yourself. So thank you very much for the encouragement. So you can further contact us. We also have email, support@financialliteracy.info. Support@financialliteracy.info. We have a direct line when we're outside of the studio, 754-366-7311. 754-366-7311. But we are in the studio, so you can call us if there's something on your mind, if you want to share an experience, if you want to make a comment, if you want to give us a feedback, if you want to just ask us a question. We're in the studio. You can call us 954-792-1170. 954-792-1170. Okay, so back to Medicare. So we have spoken about Medicare Part A, Medicare Part B. All right. There is also Medicare Part C. So what is Medicare Part C? Medicare Part C is most commonly known as Medicare Advantage. Medicare Advantage. So you may say, but what's the difference with Medicare Part A, Medicare Part B, and Medicare Part C? What happens? Medicare Part A and Part B is provided by the federal government. So say, for instance, you can sign up for Medicare with the Social Security Administration or Medicare.gov. You can sign up for Medicare. Right? And you can have Medicare Part A, you can have Medicare Part B. Part C now, the Medicare Advantage now, you cannot sign up for Part C with the government. Part C, you have to sign up with a private insurance company. And you may say, but wow, what if the private insurance company don't treat me well? Not possible. Not possible. If you hear someone says different about that, they're not telling you the truth. Seek proper information, because every private insurance company I understand we're having a little bit of technical difficulty, so we're just gonna move. We're just gonna move along. Okay? So all right. So let's clear up something. Let's go back to Medicare Part C, where you hear about Medicare Advantage. Medicare Advantage is a private insurance which combines Part A and Part B. So one of the questions seniors sometimes ask is that, okay, why should I? And it's a very, very common question. Why should I get Part C with a private insurance company? Why should I? Here's the number one reason. If you get the Medicare Part A and Part B directly from the government, there's nothing wrong with that. That's not necessarily true. There is something wrong. Medicare Part B, which is for doctors. Medicare Part B only pays 80% of the doctor's fees. Yeah, Medicare only pays 80%. You have to come up with 20%. But here's the thing. If you go to the doctor and the fee is $100, yeah, 20% seems insignificant because it's only $20. But what if that doctor fee is $10,000? Do you see what we're getting at? What if that doctor fee is $10,000? Then 20% of that is $10,000. Is $2,000 of that $10,000. So I understand we have cleared up our technical difficulties. So we are gonna break so you can digest some of that, and we can come back and we're gonna pay some bills. So stick and stay with us. We will be right back. It has in the sense that a Medicare Advantage company cannot provide you with Medicare, and it has lesser benefits than Part A and Part B. It has to have Part A, it has to have Part B, and enhanced benefits. So it cannot be by where it's lesser. It cannot be less. It cannot be less. It cannot be lesser. So that is how that part works, whereas it has to have the same services as part A and part B and additional services. So if someone says to you, well, Medicare Advantage may have lesser benefits, that is not true. Okay, so seek proper guidance if you hear that. All right, the next part now is part D. You have part D, which is prescription drugs, Medicare prescription drugs. So what happens if someone has part A and part B? Remember, you can have part A and part B with the government. But here's the confusing part. You cannot have part D with the government. Part D is provided by a standalone now insurance company, a private insurance company again. But remember, for part C and part D, even though they are private insurance companies, they have to follow the Medicare guidelines. They cannot just choose to do it how they want to. There is a Medicare guideline by CMS. CMS is a government organization, that takes care and give oversight to these kind of services. Contrary to that now, what is also confusing, because I spoke to a lady the other day, and she's on Medicare, and she got caught up in a discussion because somebody told her something. She thought that her Medicare was Obamacare. So you see what is happening there. So sometimes people are giving these false information, and I don't know if it's from a lack of knowledge or intentional. So this lady thought she had Obamacare. And I'm saying to her, no, Obamacare, which is the proper name is the Affordable Health Care. And there's a joke with this. There was a guy, on the internet, and he was bashing Obamacare. And his friend said to him on the internet, wait, how come you're bashing Obamacare and you have Obamacare? The guy said, no, I don't have Obamacare. I have the Affordable Health Care. He didn't know that the affordable, because he's saying he has ACA. He didn't know that affordable health care was the same of Obamacare. So you see, sometimes you hear people bash some things and they don't necessarily know what they're talking about. So let's get that understanding then. So under 65 is Obamacare, over 65 is Medicare. So I know it's a confusing topic. The letters doesn't really say how confusing it is, because it says Medicare Part A, B, C, and D. So you're thinking if something is A, B, C, and D, it should be easy as A, B, C. But no, not in this case. So I have thrown so much at you regarding that. So I want you to think on that. We're gonna go for a commercial break. We're gonna pay some bills. So think about that. We're gonna come back on the other side. Get your pen, get your paper, because remember, we are in Sunday school. So we're gonna go further and we're gonna dive further. So stick and stay with us. We will be right back. Welcome back. Thank you for sticking and staying. Oh my gosh, thank you. Remember, I always remind you that the fastest hour in the week, I believe, is Sunday nights from 9 to 10. I just got here and we are more than halfway into the show. But remember, the show is just 9 to 10, but you have 24/7 access to us. Remember the website, financialliteracy.info. Financialliteracy.info. You can go on the website, you can check us out. All the previous shows have been posted there under the services tab. It has been recorded. All the recordings have been there. So if there's a show that you missed, or if you go there and you see one of the topic that might be of interest to you, then you can listen to that previous show. In addition to that, if there was a show, if there's something that you're thinking about that you have not heard, you can also give us that support and that feedback. You can request the show, because this particular show, a few people have contacted us that, can we do a Medicare show, or can we remind them about Medicare? Because what is happening? So this is what we're about to do. We provide that service to you. So if there's a show that you're interested, anything in the financial topic, we are quite capable and equipped to provide for you, because this is the education we want to provide to you, and hence the show, Financial Literacy. So go to the site, make your comments. You can email us, support@Financial Literacy. You can also link us, because we have the social media pages. We have Facebook, we're on Twitter. You can go there. You can go directly to Facebook. We'd appreciate you liking our page, sharing our page with your friends and family. Please don't keep us a secret, because the more you share is the more we have an opportunity where we can educate others. And you know that famous saying, the more you share shows how you care. Okay? All right. That's my little attempt at rhyming there, So if you care, you share. So that's what that is. So I went through, you guys were a little bit confused. I understand. A, B, C, D is not as easy as ABC when it comes to Medicare. So with all of that, so the question you ask yourself, how do I choose? Wow. And it's not an easy question. It's part of it is based on your beliefs. It's also based on your lifestyle. It's also based on your health condition. Because you have Part A and B, which I already mentioned. Part B, you pay 20%. The government pay 80%. So I never encourage, if someone chooses to just have original Medicare, and that's what that is. Original Medicare is where someone who's on, say someone who's 65 and they have been taking Social Security. Once you're on Social Security and you get to 65, the Social Security Administration automatically enroll you in Medicare Part A. Automatically enroll you. But they don't automatically enroll you in Part B. Why? Here's a confusing part again. So why do they automatically enroll you in Part A but not Part B? Because Part A, if you have been in the system in the United States, if you have 10 years of work in the system, 10 years, 40 credits, you get 4 credits per year. So if one has accumulated 40 credits in the system, they're automatically enrolled and eligible for Medicare Part A, but not necessarily Part B, because you can be eligible for Part B, but you're not going to be automatically enrolled in Part B because Part B has a premium. Yes, Part B has a monthly premium. You have to pay for Part B monthly, so they cannot automatically enroll you into Part B without your permission. Okay, so that is where you automatically and not automatically in B. You have to be enrolled in Part B because you have to make that decision that you want it and you're gonna pay for it. There are a couple ways you pay for it. You can pay for it direct pay from your bank account or something. But a lot of times people who are on Social Security, that premium can be taken directly from their Social Security pay. So, but people also have that option. You can be on Social Security and you choose not for it to come out of your Social Security check because you want to manage your money differently. And let me put a little addition to that, where sometimes this happens. This happens to people like with tax returns. Sometimes a senior, someone who's over 65, files a tax return and they have a tax liability to the IRS. Sometimes people don't realize that you have a tax liability to the IRS and that tax liability is not satisfied. The government basically garnishes the Social Security, and they'll take 10%. Sometimes they'll take 10% off your Social Security to help satisfy that tax liability. Yeah, I know some of you didn't know that, but that's also a confusing part with that. So that is why I'm sharing these things with you. That's why it is so important that you guys are working with professionals. I know sometimes you like to where you think you're saving money, so you go and you file the taxes yourself, or you even go on these websites that says free tax filing, and you're thinking, yes, it's free because you're not paying any money directly. But how do you many times you think something is free. Initially, it looks like it's free, and then it costs you money down the long road. So with this financial aspect, you're talking about with healthcare, you're talking about insurance, you're talking about taxes, Social Security. All of these, it's a holistic view, it's a globalistic view in that sense, whereas they all intertwine one way or the other. So if you're doing it alone, you may be doing something where, sometimes you have these things like we have a rainy evening this evening in South Florida, where sometimes you may patch a hole. You may use it, and based on how you patch it, but by you patching that, you open another. So sometimes you're fixing something, you're plugging one thing, and the plugging of that thing opens something else. So that's why you hear me keep encouraging you. There are a lot of great professionals out there who can help you. You can go and you can search. We can guide you also. So. But seek professional guidance. Remember, I give you that dentist analogy. You have a toothache. You're not just gonna go buy the equipment and try to do it in front of your mirror. No, you're gonna go to the dentist. So it's the same thing. Why would you do that for other things, but your finances, you're not doing that. You're trying to do it by yourself. All right. So the Medicare options continues. So the question then, how does one choose? And I was talking about based on your health. So as I said to you, I would never recommend original Medicare, because when you take original Medicare, you have that 20% copay for your doctor's visit. You have Medicare Advantage plans, which it has to, folks. It has to. It's not a maybe. It has to have all the benefits of Medicare Part A, Part B, and some. It has to. Then the next option also is the Medicare Supplement. So here I am introducing you to something else, Medicare Supplement. So Medicare Supplement, just like Medicare Advantage, you have to have Part A and B to have a Medicare Advantage plan. It's the same way with a supplement. You have to have Medicare Part A and B. All right. I hope you got that part. But remember, I talk about Part D with the prescription drugs. With a supplemental plan, you have to have a standalone Part D. That's the drug plan. The drug plan does not include the hospital and the dental plan for Medicare supplement. But for Medicare Advantage, you can have a Medicare Advantage plan which includes Part A, Part B, and Part D. So you see the confusing parts of how do you choose? And without you knowing these things, how do you choose? You're going to make wrong decisions. Because you're going to go and somebody may say to you, wow, the Medicare supplement plan is $250 a month. Just using an example. And another person may say to you, but why would you pay $250 for a Medicare supplement plan when you can have a Medicare Advantage plan with zero premium? So if you're just looking at the numbers, the decision looks easy. Why do I pay $250 when I can pay zero? Because then I'll be paying $3,000 a year unnecessarily. That's what it seems like initially, saying unnecessarily. But the decision you cannot just make the decision based on the cost. What you know have to factor is your lifestyle. Are you a traveler? Do you travel? Do you travel outside the United States? Do you take vacations outside the United States? Do you travel on cruises? So part of it, so we are saying, well, why is travel important? Because Medicare Part A, Part B, and Part C, which is the Medicare Advantage, only covers medical coverages inside the borders of the United States. If you outside the borders of the United States, you don't have any coverage except if you have a Medicare supplement plan. A Medicare supplement plan now will cover emergencies. It doesn't cover you just feel like you're visiting Jamaica or you're visiting another country and you just feel like going to the doctor. No, it doesn't cover that. But if you have an emergency situation in Jamaica where you're not feeling well and they have to take you to the hospital or to the doctor or whatever because of an emergency situation, your Medicare supplemental plan will pay for that. But your original Medicare and your Medicare Advantage plan will not cover that. So that's one of the factors you have to look at. Travel. Are you planning to travel? Do you travel? Is that your lifestyle? All right. So what other advantages are disadvantages? All right. Remember now, Medicare Part A and B, because it's provided by the government. If you're on Medicare Part A and B, you automatically have to be covered. You have to be covered by any doctor or any hospital that takes Medicare in the United States. Yeah. Part A and Part B. But remember the little part about the Part B. You have that 20% copay. So be careful of that. You have the 20% copay. So then now, the other part now, the private insurance, you're saying Medicare Advantage. Medicare Advantage plans have an area coverage. If you're living in Florida or South Florida, North Florida, wherever you are, it has an area coverage, and it has to be, and remember that it's under the private insurer. So it has to be in the private insurer network. It has to be in the network. Yes. So these are the things you have to consider. While the Medicare supplement plan which you're paying $250, remember that's the example we are using, you don't have that restriction where you have to be in a network. You can go to any doctor that accepts Medicare in the United States. Any doctor that accepts Medicare. And the supplemental plan, you are not subject to the copay because the Medicare supplement plan pays all your copays. It pays all your deductible. Pays all your deductible and your copays. So those are the things to consider. So as you can see, it's not a 1, 2, 3 decision or a ABC decision. These are the factors that you have to consider. The cost, the benefits, the doctor. Oh, another thing, hospital choice. Remember now, you may have a private insurer, right? But remember, and I don't want to confuse you there. Even though it says a private insurance company, it doesn't mean that private insurance company can just do what they want. They have to give you coverage under the Medicare guidelines. They have to follow the Medicare guidelines. So they can't just say they're not going to treat you. No, they have to treat you under the Medicare guidelines. But if you're in network, and you want to choose a doctor or a hospital, then you have to choose a doctor or a hospital that's in the network. Yes. So another confusing part with that, where someone will say, well, but if it's an emergency, I can go to any hospital. Yes, that part is true. Because every hospital has to take you in case of emergency. So they're not going to say to you, well, your plan is not covered under this, so we cannot treat you. No, you're going to be treated for your emergency care. But your follow-up, remember now, your follow-up care, if that hospital treats you for the emergency care, your follow-up next week is not going to be at that hospital. Yeah. So if that hospital that you got your emergency treatment not under your plan next week, because next week it's not emergency now. You're just following up. You're just going for a visit. It's not covered. So the topic, as I said, it's just very confusing, and I encourage you to just get professional guidance. Okay? Convenience. Remember, we're in the studio. 954-792-1170. 954-792-1170. I know it's a confusing topic, just like all the topics we talk about. Because remember, what creates confusion? Confusion is simply created by ignorance. And when I say ignorance in that sense, ignorance is not a derogatory word. I know sometimes growing up in Jamaica, you'll hear people use the word, and you'll hear they just make a general statement, and you'll hear, boy, the boy ignorant. And you're thinking it's something to say, well, it's arrogant, because sometimes we confuse the word ignorant and arrogant. But ignorance simply means lack of knowledge. You don't know about a particular topic. And whenever you don't know about a particular topic, and then you're forced to make a decision, then that's going to create confusion because of the lack of clarity. If you don't know the facts, the data that's necessary to make the decision, that's what creates confusion. So a lot of these topics, are all of these topics that we talk about on here, there's going to be some confusion, because especially if it's something that you didn't know. I introduce you to life insurance with living benefits. I introduce you to retirement plans where you can get the money tax-free. Oh my gosh, that is also a very confusing topic where you're going to tell me, oh, you mean I could be retired tax free? Why have I not heard about it? You know how many times I hear that as a CPA and a financial advisor where it says, okay, if I could have gotten retirement tax free, why haven't I heard about it? And it's a common thing. Why haven't I heard about it? So even with college planning, we have spoken to you about college planning, where sometimes someone will come in for college planning guidance, and then you'll share something with them and they'll ask the question, why haven't I heard about it? It's a very, very common question. Why haven't I heard about it? In the sense that none of us is going to know everything. I happen to be very versed on the financial topics, but it's not that I know everything. I'm not going to know everything. There are going to be things that I don't know. So like sometimes when you hear that last week I mentioned that this week I was in Nashville, Tennessee. It wasn't vacation. I was in a mastermind. I was in a mastermind group where different professionals sharing different ideas, what's working in the industry, what's not working, what is lacking. So the kind of thing, if you have a professional that's not getting enhancing their knowledge and having these mastermind groups, take for instance doctors. You think a doctor just go and get his doctor, graduate from med school and finishes there? He cannot, because medical science is changing every day. So if that doctor is not up on the new changes, he's gonna go write a prescription for you, and that prescription might be outdated. Because a prescription that was used for a condition last year, because of medical science, that prescription may change because now there is a better medication for that ailment. So these are the things why I mentioned to you with professionals. So talking about doctors, talking about finances, you're going taxes, you're filing your tax return and you're filing it yourself. If you don't know the tax law changes for 2017 and you're filing your 2017 taxes in March of next year, and you're filing it based on what you knew for filing your 2016 taxes, you're going to be missing out because there may be some law that was changed that would be more beneficial to you. But if you don't know it, you may be losing out. That's why I encourage you. I cannot encourage you more than I am. Seek professional help. We are here to guide you. We're here. You have us. We are here. We're providing this service. It's complimentary. Learn from us. We are trying and we're striving to help eradicate financial illiteracy. That's what our goal is. So remember, the clock is on the wall, is telling me that I got to prepare to get out of here. But I just want to remind you, we're here Sunday nights, 9 to 10. But you have 24/7 access to us. You have a phone number. You can call us directly. 754-366-7311. 754-366-7311. If you don't get us directly, you leave a message and we will get back to you within 24 to 48 hours. So that's direct phone access. You can call us, you can text us. We have the website, financialliteracy.info. Financialliteracy.info. You can find us on the web. We are there. We're there. You can go on there. You can look what we're about. Sometimes we'll have events. The events will be broadcasted there. couple weeks ago, we broadcasted the college planning event we had, and some of you were there. We thank you. We thank you for that. And also on the website, we have a Facebook page. Help us spread the word. Don't keep us a secret. You can go on, like our page, okay? So we just thank you. We just thank you for joining us. We thank you for listening to us, and we are here to serve you. We're here to serve you. This is Hubert McIntosh, your CPA and a member of SOFA. Thank you very much. Have a good evening, and we will see you next week.
McIntosh on Waves 1170 has come to an end. Don't be mad.
He'll be back next week
On www.waves1170.com. Hubert McIntosh is a member of the Society for Financial Awareness, www.sofausa.org.
promotional consideration